Alright everyone, I'm here to give you my TNA review for, let me see if I can look up the date. It's for, I legit don't know, so hold on. February 20th, 2015. I know it's late, but I was busy on Friday, and I DVR'd it, and I can't watch it until I come here, because this is the only place that has the DVR. So I'm going to be watching TNA, give you my thoughts on it. I've already been spoiled about some things, because one of my friends at school spoiled things, so I'm going to be trying to be unbiased about that, but anyhow, I can't wait to see what's going to happen on this team. Let's just get right into it. Alright, so we get this video package hyping up the 20-man gauntlet match that's going to happen tonight. And if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much like the Royal Rumble match, except it's a gauntlet. It's pretty much a Royal Rumble, and it's 20 men. And it tells us who the top 5 are going to be, because who the top 5 were going to be like the last entrants in the match. And number 5 was Ethan Carter III, or EC3 for short. Number 4 was Samoa Joe. No, wait. Actually, I gotta watch this back, actually. I'm just gonna look real quick. I know, I just forgot just because, alright, so here's the listings. I have it on mute. So number 5 is EC3, number 4 is Samoa Joe. Just hold on 1 second. Number 3 is Loki. I don't know how, but I guess that's how they rank it. I can't really. Number 2 is MVP. And number 2 is also Bobby Roode and Lashley. And number 1 is Kurt Angle. So I guess that's it. So then, I'm just going to let it play. So then Kurt Angle comes out and says that he's entering the gauntlet tonight, and he's going to be number 30 since he's going to be number 20 since he's the number 1 on the top 5. And said no one's going to stop him in it. And he's going to win it and win back the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And then Lashley gets interviewed backstage, and he said that he's going to go look for Kurt Angle, pretty much. And then we get the first match on the show. It's Matt Hardy and the Wolves, which consist of Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards. And they face James Storm, Abyss, and Manic, with the Great Sonata and Koya, because they're all part of the Revolution. And before the match starts, Matt Hardy and the Wolves attack the Revolution. They just go off on them. I believe Davey Richards, Matt Hardy gets down and they do like the poetry in motion, but Davey Richards does an elbow instead. I thought that was cool. The Wolves do a drop kick into a elbow drop. That was cool. Matt Hardy takes out Manic with the axe handle. And then Abyss, Storm, and Manic dominate Matt Hardy for much of the match. And then Matt Hardy just tags in both members of the Wolves, so we don't really know who's legal, so they both just get the hot tag, and they both just start going off on the Revolution, pretty much, the entire group. And I forgot to mention, we have Taz and Josh Matthews on commentary, because I'm seeing them right now. Forgot to mention that. They do some spots like lift up Manic, and then Eddie Edwards does like the knee to the gut. They drop kick James Storm into Abyss, and it pretty much makes it look like Abyss DDT James Storm. They take out the Great Sonata and Koya and dive on all of them. That was cool. And then Matt Hardy hits a twist of fate on Manic at the same time as I believe Davey Richards is Eddie Edwards is going to hit the double stomp to the back, and then Eddie Edwards hits a stomach stomp to the ribs on Manic for the win. Then afterwards, the Revolution just lays out everybody. Koya lays out one of the Wolves members with like a spine buster type of move. James Storm super kicks Matt Hardy, and then he has Abyss hit the Black Hole Slam on Manic as like punishment for losing the match by pinfall. And I think that was about it. There was really nothing else that happened, but I thought this was actually pretty good stuff. This was a good 6-man tag team match, and I like that. I don't really mind the fact that the Revolution lost because it doesn't make them look weak. But this was actually pretty decent stuff, so I like this stuff. All right, so EC3 and Tyrus come out, and EC3 pretty much is whining that Mr. Anderson stopped him from shaving, or as he likes to call scalping, Rockstar Spud. But he pronounces him as someone, and when he whines, he like tears up his t-shirt. It was actually pretty funny. And then Mr. Anderson comes out and says that someone was me, and he does like a stick from Green Bay, Wisconsin. And then he says that his goal is to shave EC3, and then he brings out a razor, and he says he's going to do it right now. And EC3 says he has a plan, and his name is Tyrus, and Tyrus stands in Mr. Anderson's way, and then as they come in, Rockstar Spud and Mandrews are right behind EC3, and Mr. Anderson says, "Wow, you're a big fellow, aren't you? And you're in my way, but you're not in their way." And then they attack, Mandrews and Spud attack EC3, and Mr. Anderson attacks Tyrus. And then they're about to shave EC3's head bald, but Tyrus comes out, lays them all out, and he's just kind of stalking Mr. Anderson. And he goes to attack him, but Mr. Anderson hits the mic check on him. And then they duct tape Tyrus to the ropes, and then they shave his head completely bald as EC3 watches. And then Rockstar Spud gets on the mic and says that Tyrus was the first customer in the Rockstar Spud barbershop, and EC3 is going to be the next one. And then that was it. I thought this was a decent segment. It wasn't anything special, though, but it was fine. And then the BDC, which stands for the Beatdown Clan, are backstage, and that group consists of MVP, Kenny Ken, Low-Key, and Samoa Joe, but Samoa Joe isn't going to be in it much longer because he's already left TNA, but these are taped, so right now Samoa Joe is still in it. But, you know, technically he's already gone, so, yeah. But they all pretty much say that they can stop Kurt Angle, and Samoa Joe said he's done it a ton of times. It was really nothing special. And they said that they're like the most dominant group ever. Alright, so now Mickie James is just outside the building. The camera's like, oh my gosh, Mickie James, and we find out she's there because she's going to give an update on Magnus, because in real life, Magnus and Mickie James, I think, are married or just a couple, but in real life, they had a kid together. And I actually did get to meet Mickie James. And if you don't believe me, look at my own Finch Facebook account, because it's my profile picture, which I actually need to change that. So then, Al Snow has a match with Grado, or Grado, I forget how to say his name, but, decent match. Al Snow's being a dirty heel, and, using his wind tape to choke, Grado. He hits, like, a big muscle move that I kind of missed on him on Grado, and he kicks out. He hits a moonsault, which was impressive on Grado, and Grado kicks out. Then he goes for a second one, he misses. And then Grado pretty much kicks his ass up to this point by doing a rolling like senton into the corner. And then he hits a big boot for the win. I forget what he called the finisher, but he won. Because Al Snow went for the head and he ducked, and then he hit a big boot for the win. And then afterwards, Al Snow raises Grado's hand, and it's going to be this big feel-good, lucky moment. But then the BDC, everybody, except for MVP, so it was only Kenny Kim, Low-Key, and Samoa Joe went out and attacked Grado and Al Snow. And then we see this guy in a hood come out with a lead pipe. We don't know who it is yet, but he ends up hitting Low-Key on the shoulder. And we see that it's Drew Galloway. And if you don't know who that is, it's Drew McIntyre from WWE. but his real name's actually Drew Galloway. But it was pretty awesome to see Drew Galloway on TNA. It was actually cool. I marked out. And he did end up busting open low-key shoulder a little bit. But it's pretty cool to see Drew Galloway in TNA now. Hopefully the TNA will use him right, and I think they will because they like to push former WWE guys. So I can't wait to see what happens here. And then Angelina Love and the Bromans consist of Jesse Goddard, Robbie E, and DJ Z. And they take a Ussie, which is like a selfie, except you take it with other people. And they use the fucking selfie stick. I fucking hate the selfie stick. It's one of the most weirdest inventions I've seen in my life. And then when they leave, we see that Awesome Con's watching backstage because Angelina Love is about to have a Knockouts Championship match against Taryn Terrell, and I'm going to cover that match after it happens. Alright, so now we have Taryn Terrell defending the Knockouts Championship with Angelina Love, and the Bromans are inside with her. This is actually a pretty good match. Angelina Love's attacks Taryn Terrell before the match starts, knocks her off the turnbuckle outside the ring, and then she just attacks her, and then Taryn Terrell tries to fight back, but she gets distracted by the Broman, so Angelina Love's Simone drops her on the floor, and then she dominates her Simone in the ring, and then Taryn Terrell fights back, hits a neck breaker and a suplex, but Taryn Terrell kicks it. Angelina Love kicks out. My bad, I'm botching like crazy. Taryn Terrell goes off the top and hits a springboard clothesline, but Angelina Love kicks out. And then Taryn Terrell hits a big boot. Taryn Terrell kicks out of that. And then Taryn Terrell hits like a diamond cutter for the win and retains the title. Then afterwards, Awesome Con comes out and lays out Taryn Terrell and holds up the title. But then Gail Kim comes out and has a face-off, and then Awesome Con leaves. I thought this was actually pretty good stuff. Good match and good aftermatch, and I think they're setting up a triple threat between Taryn Terrell, Awesome Con, and Gail Kim for the Knockouts titles, so I can't wait to see what happens with the Knockouts division. Alright, it's now midnight, so this video is going to be continuing to tomorrow, which I don't mind. So, the superstars are cutting promos, pretty much saying why they're going to win the gauntlet. The only superstars that really did it, though, are Robbie E, DJZ, EC3, MVP, Loki, and Samoa Joe was the only superstars that did it. They just pretty much said why they're going to win and that they're going to win. That's pretty much all they said. I thought it was fine. But we find out some Loki, though, has stitches behind his ear from when Drew Galloway hit him with that pipe, so I thought that was cool. Then Tommy Dreamer comes out, and he calls out Eric Young because he said that he tried to settle things between him and Bobby Roode, who isn't there because Eric Young took him out last week, so he's not going to be competing in the gauntlet match. And he said that he just wants to fight Eric Young tonight. So he calls him out. Eric Young's music plays, and he doesn't show. So Tommy Dreamer says, okay, if you won't come out here and fight me, I'm going to go back there and find you. So Tommy Dreamer goes to the back, and when he goes backstage, Eric Young attacks him from behind, but Tommy Dreamer fights back. They brawl to the ring, and Dreamer grabs the mic and says, get a referee out here, we're going old school. And then he hits Eric Young off the head with the microphone. He throws a steel chair in the ring. I thought that was cool. He grabs somebody's beer, drinks it, and spits it in Eric Young's face. And he goes to do something with him in the corner, but Eric Young counters, and he drops Tommy Dreamer balls first into the guardrail. And then he bites like his eye off. Eric Young bites his eye off. I thought that was cool. And this busts Tommy Dreamer open bad. It was awesome. And then Tommy Dreamer throws Eric Young into the steel steps. And then he brings out a table and he put him in the ring, so then the match started. The match hadn't even started yet. And then Eric Young drop kicks the table into Tommy Dreamer before he can use it. And then Eric Young pretty much dominates Tommy Dreamer for a while. I thought that was cool. And then Eric Young is going to bounce, goes to power drive Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer counters into a back suplex. well, a big back body drop anyways, and then he's gonna DDT him, but Eric Young sweeps the leg, and then Eric Young is gonna go off the top on the Dreamer, but Dreamer counters, and then he suplexes Eric Young through the table, but Dreamer kind of goes through it too. He actually goes through it more than Eric Young did, and then Tommy Dreamer's going off on Eric Young. He hits the elbow while there's a chair on top of Eric Young, and then he goes for his Dreamer Death Valley driver, I think, and then Eric Young low blows him, throws him into the steel chair that was wedged in the corner, and then hits a power driver for the win. So I thought this was great stuff. Amazing. This was actually a pretty good part of Impact. Alright, so Mickie James comes out, and she announces that she has a new son, and that she's engaged to Magnus. But she wants to know why. She doesn't actually say that she's engaged to Magnus, but I guess we're just supposed to know. But she wants to know why, well, his best friend Bram would attack him from behind and leave him for dead in an alley after everything Magnus has done for him. And he calls him a coward. She calls him a coward, and she calls out Bram. Or actually, no, Bram just comes out, and he's still holding that cue ball that he used to bash Magnus' head in. And Mickie James asks him why he attacked Magnus after everything Magnus has done for him, and nobody else would. And Bram says back in the day, Magnus used to be a different man. He was a whiskey drinking. He didn't care. He would fight anybody and wouldn't care. But now he's stuck with a redneck girl and an insignificant little boy that's holding him back, and he's stuck with them. And he said he could have gotten a way better girl than Mickie James. I thought that was awesome. And then Mickie James says that she did it because you know that Magnus could... because you know that face-to-face Magnus could kick your ass. And then he gets in her face, and then she slaps him. And she says, I'm not afraid of you. And then Bram's going to do something bad, but then the referees come in and hold Bram back. So I thought this was a great segment. This is going to make the feud more intense when Magnus finally returns. I can't wait to see what happens. And then Lashley's backstage talking to Kurt Angle. And Lashley says, you say no one could stop you. Well, you've never been in the ring with me, and I'm going to stop you next week. And then Kurt Angle says that tonight he goes through 20 other men, and 19 other men, and then you're next. And then Lashley says, I'm not going to get in your way tonight. I thought this was a decent segment. But this was actually a great start to, a great part of the TNA. I thought it was awesome. Alright, so now we have the 20-man gauntlet match. It was actually a pretty decent gauntlet match. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. But let's talk about... I wrote down the entries and the eliminations, so let me just talk about the entries first. So, hold on. Kenny King comes out number 1, and then Austin Aries comes out number 2. And every minute a superstar is supposed to come in, but they wrestled for way more than a minute. But I thought that what they wrestled was pretty decent stuff. Kenny King hits a girl on Aries. Aries hit like an elbow on him. I thought they had some pretty decent spots when they wrestled together. They have great chemistry in the ring. And then number 3 was Crazy Steve. Number 4 was Jesse Goddard. Number 5 was Bram. Number 6 was Koya. Number 7 was Chris Melendez. Number 8 was Mr. Anderson. Now, during the commercial, more people came out, so I don't know exactly if these order is correct, but Josh Matthews said these guys in these orders, so I'm just going to go with what he said. I think these were what the order is. Number 9 was Samuel Shaw. Number 10 was The Great Sonata. And The Great Sonata wrestled the whole match in that robe. I thought that was hilarious. Number 11 was DJZ. Number 12 was Tyrus, and he still has that bald hair, obviously. Number 13 was Rockstar Spud. Number 14 was Robbie E. Number 15 was Gunner. Number 16 was EC3. Number 17 was Samoa Joe. Number 18 was Low-Key. Number 19 was MVP. And number 20 was Kurt Angle. So now let's get to the eliminations. I'm going to talk about some spots that happened in the match as well. Alright. Crazy Steve was eliminated by Koya. Chris Melendez was eliminated by Bram. That was during the commercial break. Samuel Shaw was eliminated by Tyrus. Jesse Goddard was eliminated by Tyrus. DJZ was eliminated by Tyrus. And then when Rockstar Spudder came in the match, he went immediately right after Tyrus, kept going off on him, just hitting like big flying clotheslines, and then eventually Tyrus threw him over, and then he picked him up and did like the Samoan spike move to eliminate Rockstar Spud. Koya was eliminated by Tyrus, and then the Great Sonata spit mist into Tyrus's face, and right afterwards Mr. Anderson eliminated the Great Sonata, and then Mr. Anderson went after Tyrus. He threw him over the ropes, but Tyrus tried to hold on to the second rope and do what like the athletic wrestlers can normally do to stay in. But then Mr. Anderson bit his hands to eliminate him. I thought that was awesome. Austin Aries drop kicked Robbie E off the turnbuckle to eliminate him. I thought that was cool. Bram was eliminated by Gunner. EC3 was eliminated by Mr. Anderson. I thought that was a sick spot. I meant to say I thought it was sick the way EC3 sold it because he acted like he was all shocked. I was expecting him to come back in the ring and eliminate Mr. Anderson, but that didn't happen. And then it came down to it came down to Gunner, Austin Aries, and pretty much the BDC and Kurt Angle, but some of the BDC and Kurt Angle weren't out there yet. So yeah, but I thought I mentioned that. But Gunner was eliminated. No, wait. Mr. Anderson was eliminated by Samoa Joe, and it was just down to Aries and Gunner. And Gunner was eliminated by Samoa Joe and MVP. And then it was just down to the BDC, Austin Aries, and Kurt Angle. And Low-Key eliminated Austin Aries with a drop kick. So then the BDC just pretty much beats the crap out of Kurt Angle. And Samoa Joe tries to charge at Angle, but Angle pulls the rope down. And at this point, Lashley was out there checking out the match to see who was going to be facing next week. And then Kurt Angle eliminates Low-Key, and then he eliminates Kenny Ken, so that it comes down to Kurt Angle and MVP, and they just straight shots at each other. Thought it was Kurt. MVP hits the knee to the face, and then the ball and elbow move, and then he goes for the one point he tries to go for the, and when MVP and Angle were wrestling, the BDC, the other members of the BDC were still out there, so I thought that was cool. And then MVP goes after the leg of Angle. He goes for a big kick, and MVP counters into a German suplex. And then Angle, Low-Key gets on the apron, Angle punches him, and then Kenny Ken holds Kurt Angle's leg, and then MVP hits the big boot on Angle to eliminate him. And then MVP wins the gauntlet. So next week, Lashley is going to be defending the World Heavyweight Championship against MVP. I think this makes sense. I was expecting actually Kurt Angle to win just by the way they were building him up. But I think MVP makes more sense just because they have more of a story with each other, because they were like friends when Lashley had his first title reign and when MVP was in power, and MVP ended up turning on him. So I think it makes more sense. So next week Lashley is going to defend the TNA World Heavyweight Championship against MVP. I think that's awesome. And as for this episode of Impact, I thought this was a pretty damn good Impact this week. I thought it was a good six-man tag between Matt Hardy and the Wolves versus the members of the Revolution. I thought the Knockouts match was good. I thought Al Snow versus Credo wasn't that bad, and we got to see the debut of Drew Galloway. I thought that was cool. I thought the Mr. Anderson Tyler stuff was decent. Nothing special though, but decent. I'm trying to remember anything else that happened because I already deleted it. The gauntlet was good, and the build up for the gauntlet I thought was great. Trying to remember if there was anything. Oh, the brand Mickey James stuff, that was awesome. Everything was just awesome on the show. But that's pretty much it, guys. I think I pretty much covered everything. If you want to continue to see TNA reviews from me, you can check out the playlist, and you can also click right here to subscribe. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I will be back to give you another video at some point this week. But that's pretty much it, guys. See you later.